KLA Corporation has done very, very well over the last 5 years. We can see it's up 290%. S&P 500 performance over this time frame is only about 90%. So we're over 3xing it. The S&P 500 dividend is like 0.25% higher. So maybe it's a little bit closer than maybe it's almost exactly 3 times, but still, I mean, we're still talking like a great performance, right? And since 2014, late 2014, it's actually better if you do late 2014 than middle of 2014, but it was up from about 50 to 650. So simple math there will tell you it has done incredibly well. S&P 500 is only up about 240% over the last 5 years. So this stock clearly has done incredibly well, right? So then you ask yourselves, okay, is this expensive where it's at? You may have seen the PE on that one, but we got PE at 29.5, slightly above S&P 500 levels, which is about 27, but actually forward PE at 21. This is cheaper than the S&P 500 PE, right? Because S&P 500 PE is about 23. So if you go off of forward PE, this is a company that has 3x the S&P 500, basically on the 5-year, on the 10-year, and is technically cheaper if you go off forward PE. So in terms of value and performance, right, this thing it's looking good, right? And now you may ask yourself, what do they do? I'm assuming many of you do know what they do. You clicked on this video. Many of you don't. They do semiconductor stuff. I love semiconductors. I've covered probably 10 to 12 semiconductor stocks on this channel already, or at least those that are very closely related or adjacent to them, right? And this one is great. They provide stuff to TSM and Samsung, which do fabrication of semiconductors. So those are primarily the blueprints for the AMDs, the Intels, the NVIDIAs of the world to use, right? So all the high-level AI computing chips come through TSM, and 90%, 85 to 90% are from TSM. The rest are Samsung, and Intel's trying to get into that space. They are not quite there yet. A long way to go. However, they provide critical infrastructure for that. I mean, you can read all this, bunch of different stuff. It's such meteorology systems, the main thing. There's so many high-level, sophisticated equipment that is in there that basically no one in the entire world fully understands except the few people that make them. And all that stuff is proprietary. We don't need to get super deep into it, but I love this industry. The only concern I have is that I have so many of these stocks that I love that I'm going to be way too overexposed in the short term, right? So the one thing I don't like about this is, and other ones too, is they're so tied to it that, let's just say there was like something dramatic that happened to like a TSM, it would certainly in the short term be catastrophic for one of these companies, right? So the fact that this company is so tied to other companies' performances, I know Samsung would probably pick it up, or maybe Intel if like TSM blew up tomorrow, right? That's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. But there is inherent risk being so tied to another company, right? There just is. Does that mean it's not a good stock? No, but that's the biggest risk tied to this one. And it's not a small company either, $86 billion market cap, right? So this isn't a particularly small company. It's not huge, but this is a large company, right? And there's quite a few companies that are in the same space. I covered Lam earlier. I like that company too, right? The upcoming earnings are expected, like I said, it looks like they're expected pretty good. Let's take a little bit of a look at the historical earnings, right? 20% down, 6% up, 30%. There was a huge 2022 and 2023 were really, really good for these, for semiconductors in general. And then 2023 wasn't, or excuse me, 2023 that's 2024, depending on the company, wasn't quite as good usually. I'm used to having 2021. We just for now are getting the last quarter earnings in for a lot of these companies, so I'm used to seeing 2021 on these. But generally, even then, there was a big run up between 21 and 2022, right? But even then, the course of these years is very, very good performance. They do pay a dividend about 1%, but this is probably not a stock that you're counting on the dividend being the primary way of getting profit. It's kind of just a bonus. Usually I prefer my stocks that grow a lot to pay less of a dividend. However, this company is, it's stable. It's tied to another company kind of, for the most part. It's stable enough that I wouldn't mind some dividend right from it. So let's take a look at the historical PE. Yeah, we're actually kind of within a interesting realm here. The Ford PE is actually closer to cheapest as it's been, only comparable to early 2023, right? We've seen Ford PE as high as 30, right? Somewhere in that 26, 23 range, right? So this stock, I'm assuming, I need to take a little bit of a deeper look at the chart when it loads correctly. Yeah, I mean, we are off the peaks, right? From 850 to 640. That's a decent way down. A lot of the semiconductors were hitting highs then, not just this stock, the ASMLs, the AMDs. A lot of stocks are hitting highs earlier in this year and have kind of tapered off a little bit. So this is not a bad opportunity if you need more exposure to semiconductors, need more exposure to tech that has relatively same PE levels compared to the S&P 500, right? This is a great pick. I love this as a long-term hold. Obviously, I don't do, this is not financial investment advice. You guys take this information, do what you want. But personally for me, I would have no problem holding this company long-term. Like I said, my only concern is I can only own so many of these semiconductor companies, right? There's only so many I should own because I don't want diversification is key. I've talked about that many times, but we could take a quick look at analysts, but I think this video has even gone on as long as I wanted to. 17 of the 28 say buy, rest say hold. Yep, I've covered what I want to in this stock. I like it. I like it a lot. Love the industry, love the company, love the performance, love the price. This is one of the better buying opportunities you'll have in a market like this. Of course, it could always go lower. Of course, the company could start failing, but that's not, I wouldn't expect it from this one. History doesn't say that. Anyways, I appreciate all of you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, this is the first video you've seen from me. I appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and maybe checked out some other content I do. I notice whenever anyone subscribes to my channel, I often get a boost in views. YouTube's like, oh, people enjoy this guy. I'll recommend him more. And it really does help the channel a lot. So if you take the time to subscribe, it would really make my day, and I appreciate it. But anyways, I appreciate all of you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.